Hey everyone, let's wait for a couple of people to come in. Got a bunch of charts lined up here a bit later today, which is nice in a way because the traditional markets, US markets, are open and they've had almost an hour to figure out where the fuck they're going. And things are looking pretty good. The VIX is continuing to roll over. I spent some time listening to my TradFi quants today, which is basically just my HI subscription. So HI have a process-driven portfolio management framework that they present a lot of content around. And they have a daily show called the Macro Show, half an hour before US markets open. And today they were kind of, they do sort of err on the bearish side, on the capital preservation side most of the time. They're kind of cautious, and they were ringing alarm bells today, but looks like those alarm bells have not come to fruition as yet. Things look pretty decent. They still have bearish trend for all the majors, for SOL, ETH, and BTC, but yeah, things look not too bad. Let me just see if we've got anyone in chat. Not yet. So yeah, I like that the VIX is just continuing to dead cat and make its way down back to the 20 level. If we just zoom out, 20 is kind of 20 below 20 is a good place to be for the VIX. Too much volatility in the TradFi markets tends to be a bad thing, and above 30 is a really bad place to be. Between 20 and 30 is your chop zone. It's like the internet's slow again today. There we go. Yeah, so if I just zoom out, 3-day works best, doesn't it, for the high time frame view? And we're just coming straight down, which is good to see. All of these big volatility events took like a week or two even to calm down, and we look very flash crashy with this spike over here, huge spike, and then straight down again, which is great to see. Let's have a quick peek at the S&P. So this is the S&P futures, which means we get all the data from when the market is closed, all the futures data. Yeah, this weekly candle looks promising, and if I zoom in, let's see what the RL is doing. Looks bullish, very much bullish. All the stuff getting bought up. This is a nice bottomy pattern that you're seeing here. This is spike down your Adam, and then a rounding bottom, your Eve. I'd be surprised to see this come down again. This looks like it wants to head back up again. We zoom out to the 4-hour, which is maybe a little bit more of a significant time frame. And then just, I wonder if we'll get any volume profile data. Struggled to get this before. There we go. Yeah, so this is a point of resistance here that we're looking at now. If we start closing 4 hours above here, it's bullish for a move back to this level, the 5,525 level. Let's have a look at the NASDAQ. I just want to run through this stuff quickly, but just because macro has been significant, especially this last week with the big black swan on Monday. NASDAQ maybe not as bullish as S&P, but doesn't look too bad. It looks like it's trying to paint a bottom. Let's check out the 4-hour. Stab down into this purple box, and that's your 200 MA on the 4-hour. Not sure how significant that is. The 200 DMA, the daily MA, is still way below this support zone. Looks like that could hold on this correction unless we get another big crashy down day. That looks unlikely at this point, but I don't want to rule out any further volatility going into the elections with the geopolitical situation in the Middle East. recessionary conditions in the US. I mean, people are arguing we're not in, well, the US is not in a recession. I'm in Zimbabwe and definitely in a secular recession. But yeah, hopefully this works its way through. We're probably going to get some more consolidation here before we break this downtrend. This is something that looks really good, as it has done for a long time. Gold, and if you compare to Bitcoin, actually gold is showing us carrots, has been for the whole correction, the whole majors, whole Bitcoin correction since mid-March. Let me just add this as same percent and scale, I think was the way to do it. Let's have a look. And then if I just wind this out so that we start the chart in mid-March, you'll see exactly how gold has been kicking sand in our face, which of course is quite a rarity, but does happen from time to time. And the times when it does happen tend to be when there's a risk of recession or you're in recession. Yeah. So yeah, we're basically, gold's like 17% ahead of us since this whole consolidation. Let's just get rid of Bitcoin here and look at the weekly. I think gold miners are not doing as well because stocks have taken a beating. Maybe they're coming back. Yeah, they're down. Gold miners don't do as well in recessionary conditions because they're businesses, they're not gold. So yeah, so Jim Bianco had a tweet just on the giant bounce that we saw yesterday. S&P 500 rises 2.5%, 2.3%. Biggest one day gain since November 22. Monday was S&P's biggest one day loss. I mean, that's not that surprising to me. This is kind of, you get big bear market bounces. I'm not saying we're in a bear market, but when you get a massive flash crash, a massive drawdown, a massive dump, you always get a big bounce. The bounces are encouraging. Things look good. Thursday was biggest one day gain since November 22. So yeah, it's promising. And he's just highlighting the one-day percentage change. I mean, this is not really mind-blowing data to me, but it's good to see. It's encouraging. Yeah, so we looked at NASDAQ. CoinStock, nice bounce, trying to hold the 200-day moving average. Yeah, this flash crash kind of ruined my squiggle, but we're just front-running this, I guess, and going a bit deeper. So yeah, that doesn't look too bad if we hold this 200-day moving average like we did over here. It looks pretty decent. Let's look at Bitcoin. What was cool to see was how, let's hide that for now, how we closed the CME gap with absolute precision. I drew this white line a few days back and woke up this morning to see that we like pretty much to the tick close this gap. And then resistance here, which is completely unsurprising, is the 200-day moving average, which we smashed through. So yeah, I mean, I saw Hasaka's tweets, tongue-in-cheek tweets today. I actually don't have it to hand. Let's get it up. Or Romano had the tweets. Everybody's talking about these big sell walls on Binance. Massive sell wall and a buy wall at 56K. So I don't really give a shit about these sell walls. I mean, these things can disappear in an instant. And what's interesting to look at, significant for me, is when we lost the 200-day here, it took a number of days to reclaim it. And it looks like it's resistance here. We've closed very precisely. This big daily candle closed right at the 200-day. And you can see how it's been resistance here when we lost it on the 5th of July, 4th of July. And if you wind this back to this big dump on the 17th of August, you can see it took like probably a month under the 200-day and this big volume node. I mean, this volume node was probably partly created by this dump. but it was a 200-day that was resistance. So yeah, that's where we are now, and you can see it's taking less time to reclaim. I don't know how long this is going to take to reclaim. A lot of that depends on TradFi, but I think we will reclaim it. And this giant candle here suggests to me that we could reclaim it quite soon, like maybe on Monday or next week sometime. So yeah, if we reclaim this level, mark this out like a week ago, probably on Monday, I think, reclaim this and the 200 daily moving average, maybe we're good. And then we have this final bust up here. I think this is actually the biggest volume node. If I zoom out and get all of this price action on the screen, this will refactor. Yeah, so yeah, this is the big level here, 67K, which it has been for a while. And I think this trend line is still going to kind of matter as well, so I've left it in. But yeah, encouraging ETF flows, big 201 mil net flows yesterday, highest since July 19th. The only thing I don't really like is where we are with long short accounts. Sorry to bang on about this, but this is kind of high, up at 1.992 level. If we move up to the range highs and this comes right down, super bullish, that's what you want to see. And you can see a very clear level here where this long short ratio resets into a pump, as it did here. Came down here, spiked up, way down, right back down to 1, and then we got our run up to 30K, resets here, down to 1.2. So this 1.2 level, I'm looking for anything around 1.4, 1.2, even 1. You can see this is a big reset. What happens here? Bitcoin pumps into like a level here where there was a previous high. Market de-risks. People close longs, and that gives you the reset you need to go much higher, which is what's happened. But I think what has happened as well is we've had this giant run up in Bitcoin, and news has traveled, and we got a little bit of a consensus long position, which, you know, this huge level here is exemplifies that. If I look on, so I just drew on these charts, and this is the ETH situation. This is like a high time frame view. I tweeted about this today. Sorry to labor this, but it just seems so obvious to me, and nobody else talks about this. And when I tweet about it, people are often confused because they, guys are telling me in a bull market, buyer interest goes up and tends to stay high. Yes, that is the situation with OI, with open interest. That is the situation with funding, can go high and stay high, but it's not what you see here with this. This is a simple ratio of long accounts to short accounts across exchanges. And this pattern bears out all the way back to last cycle as far as data, as far as the data that they have goes. So this is a weekly chart for ETH. You can see this run up from $80 up to like 250, corrected, this ratio reset. People like big gains from 80 to 250. I'm closing my longs, maybe hedge short. That gave you the reset, maybe some shorts to burn through to go higher. Same deal here after the May high, big reset, back up again. Bear market, and then we saw the same thing here after this run up from 1,500 to 2.5. Longs close, gives you reset, higher again to 4K. But what's happened since then is, here's where we got the ETF announcement, massive amounts of longs. Here you have a situation where ETH in the last cycle and in the 2017 cycle, to an even greater extreme, massively outperformed Bitcoin. And now you've got a Bitcoin ETF that's lit a fire under the Bitcoin price. And here you get announcement of an ETH ETF So massive Bitcoin historic outperformance plus an ETF equals big consensus longs. This is not a good situation for ETH. And it's a large part of why you're getting ETH underperformance, because these are weak longs. These are people just with a simple thesis who are not strong hands opening these longs, which is why you're getting this underperformance. Good morning, man. Covering cloud. Okay. Not familiar with cloud, but we can check that out. Is that on deck screener? Got a few requests actually for charts, which I will get to at the end of the stream. So I'm going to cover a few things first. I assume this is the cloud you're talking about with 7.1 mil of liquidity. Got a bunch of charts lined up here that people asked me to look at. Chris with ACX, Sigma, Miggles, Ish, and Era looks pretty decent. Let's just run through these quickly. So yeah, good ETF inflows, some sell walls that we don't really care about. Aggregated long short doesn't look great. Oh yeah, and then zero, I'm long zero. I longed it at 319. It pumped nicely up to 362 today. It's chopping around a bit over here. Not sure how I feel about that, but I like this bottom that it's put in, massive W bottom with a high low on this one. And yeah, it looks good. And this is an obvious level for me, $4 to close it out. Take profit here at 378. Obviously, this will all depend on, if we get another massive Bitcoin dump, this thing will probably come all the way back down here and I'll get stopped out. So I'll have to close it before then. Let's just zoom in a bit and see what's happening. And it looks like it's rolling over, which I'm not too keen on. This is new. Let's see what the stock's doing. Looks like it's could turn around soon. So yeah, this is a bit of a resistance level here. I'll just keep watching this. And then Camino, also bought myself a bag of Camino down here, and it printed a massive daily candle yesterday. Put this in the newsletter. Looks really good. Suspect we get a retest of this level. Grant's also got some good thesis points to make about Camino. Basically, the biggest lending platform on Solana, second biggest TVL behind Jito. Super cool team, very committed. Solana Maxi, cult-like energy with the team. They actually create some good content talking about what they're doing and why they're doing it and why they're bullish on Solana and why they chose it for their platform. Zuma showed this thing as well on Twitter. He's got quite a big following, calling it the ARB of Solana, which kind of makes sense. So yeah, bullish on this thing. I don't know why there's an MA cross there. That's not really relevant. But yeah, the 3-day chart in particular looks good to me. With this bull div here, you can see how RSI is trending up as price comes down. Super bullish sign of strength. You can draw this with the candle closes, or you could draw it down there, which would be more extreme. But yeah, I think this is going up to the 8 cents area as long as we don't get a market nuke, obviously. And then Jito also looking good with the buyback. Let's look at the weekly candle. Seeing all of it. So yeah, the VWAP here is offering some resistance, but we've chatted through this massive level, which is good to see. RSI back above 50 on the weekly will be a good place to be, which would probably coincide with reclaiming the VWAP. Yeah, super bullish on Solana DeFi. Bullish on ETH DeFi 1.0 stuff as well, in particular Aave. I own some Aave. But I think if DeFi does well and Solana, I think, is going to continue to do well. Sol ETH looks pretty ironclad. It's pulled back a bit, but I think it's going to keep going. I think Solana DeFi is going to do well too. And also seeing some interesting, this is Drift. Obviously the perps decks. Super cool platform, doing really well, lots of liquidity, also good team, very talented team. Just created a prediction market, which is, the big bullish space that everyone's trying to get into, since you've seen such massive adoption for these prediction markets with Polymarket and the elections betting and whatnot. Bullish on this too. Let's look at the 3-day charts. So nice big wick on the 3-day. Need to get back above this level. If I enable the volume profile, we'll probably see that there is a point of control there. Yeah, it'd be nice to get it back above here. But this looks bottomy to me. Let's look at the daily. Nice big candles. Yeah, so we just need to see the majors hold their shit together, and these things are going to do well. Liquidity is increasing. I looked at that the other day. Looks good to me. So, if we can just keep that trend of more liquidity, Bitcoin consolidating nicely after this flash crash, then all of this stuff looks super good to me. Yeah, and then this is a chart that I found today with my trading list. I'm not familiar with it, AMB, but it looks super good. There it is. Yeah, massive weekly candle on this thing after a super bearish weekly candle last week. Zoom into the daily. So yeah, this thing dumped like everything on Monday. That is like almost a 50% dump. It's pretty small cap. It's on Binance, 30 mil market cap. I've been meaning to try and read up on what's causing this pump, if there's a news event or whatever, but the chart looks good. Like this downtrend just broke. Daily candle closing up here is super bullish. There's a bit of a channel here that's downtrend channel that is not dead. Yeah, sitting on this point of control. VWAP, let's turn that into something more useful. Oh, that's fine. It's the yeah, it looks good. AirDAO, thin air up here. Let's go there. Looks good. Yeah, we're getting to the request. Just to look at Sol ETH quickly. So this is pulled back a bit. I saw loads of ETH victory lapping, which is super weird to me. Maybe not victory lapping, when people are excited by the ETH bounce. Have you guys zoomed out on the chart? Because that bounce is like to be expected. This is just a minor correction. So, if you look at Sol ETH on the weekly or even the 3-day is better, maybe how this thing consolidated at the highs for, it's been 8 months. It took 8 months. W bottom, bounce off the mid-range all the way down here, printed basically a big inverse head and shoulders. It's only just broken out. It's just testing this level again. It could come all the way down here, and this would be a good buy, I think. Yeah, this kind of market structure with this big cup and not quite a handle, but it's like an inverse head and shoulders, or even a W bottom on the weekly. Yeah, it looks amazing. I don't think this level is going to be something we close back underneath. So if you're still an ETH maxi at this point, I don't know what to tell you. Let's just look at ETH quickly. Got an ETH BTC chart actually to look at the world's most horrendous chart. The chart of pain for this cycle. Pain in a chart. Something I noticed today. So this obviously is zooming way out on the 3-day. This is how ETH BTC used to behave, like massive Chad pumps. This is 2016 actually, just after the ICO. But then this is all 2017. This is where I got involved with ETH way back when, $10 area. Yeah, and look how RSI behaved. It topped out at this 90 level, 92. And then you got the 21 bear market. Actually, the shit started in May already, where RSI couldn't get above 70. And for this whole cycle, there's been a glass ceiling on RSI, where it hasn't been able to get above 62 for this whole downtrend. It's just a massive sign of weakness, complacency, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know if that means, let me have a look here. Visible. That we need to test this level. I don't know. This could come down more. We're going to bounce because we're massively oversold. And these are reversal levels for local bottoms. But I mean, look how weak this bounce was. Massively oversold, weak bounce. Up to there, and then just weakness. Massive weakness. I thought we were going to break this downtrend to the upside when the ETF was announced. I think it was around here, or the idea that we might well get an ETF was around here. Since then, just pain. It was like a waterfall of shit. Let's just add some resolution to this volume profile to get a better picture of where your support and resistance is. Yes, this is the level that you need to get above to break this downtrend. I'll just, have to sell off of this magnitude. Maybe it's just jump getting out. Maybe there's a forced seller reason behind that. I guess that's what you have to hope for if you've got big ETH bags. But yeah, don't look great. We're going to bounce. People are going to victory lap this bounce. I mean, look at this. That's pathetic. Come on, guys. That is a pathetic bounce. Like, study relative strength, seriously. I mean, compare it to Bitcoin. That's a bounce. I mean, it doesn't look the greatest, but it looks like there's potential for us to be so back at some point in the near future. And then study Solana. Okay, we've pulled back a bit, but look where we wicked to and look where we bounced to, like 2/3 of the way back up. 2/3 of the way back up. What is this? That is like a 50%, no, not quite 50, but 45% dump from this resistance level. And not even, okay, it's about a 50% retrace. Yeah, it doesn't look great. And the long short account stuff is what concerns me as well. Yeah, so let's get to the chart requests. Please don't stop the ETH pain. Sorry, guys. I don't know. People just want a long ETH. I don't know what to tell you. Have you read that book on volume price analysis? It's volume bars that set the levels are sick. Yeah, I like the volume profile a lot. It saves me a lot of time fucking around with moving averages and, trying to find the moving average on each chart that actually matters and stuff. Just look at where people are trading on the chart. Just look at the price levels where business is being done. That's, it's super accurate. I don't want to say accurate, but it gives you good levels that actually translate to reversals and resistance and all that stuff. Cloud. Let's just look at ACX. This looks pretty decent. It's a bit of a channel here. This is what Chris asked me to look at from the PERT. I think, was it the Baron who's long this thing? Let's just look at RSI. And maybe the stochastic as well. Yeah, quite a lot of volume coming in here. So a good defense on Monday, on the Monday dump. That's a big wick. Somebody brought this thing back up. Let's have a look. 150 mil market cap, 360 FTB. It looks promising. There's a very obvious level here where it reverses on the upside. So maybe we're going back up there. With these obvious uptrends, it's always a bad sign when you can't make it back up to the top of the trend. If you roll over before, it's a sign of weakness. So yeah, these are quite kind of left curve TA tools that actually give you meaningful data or just a meaningful input. If this rolls over before it gets back to the top, then you want to de-risk. And if this is a really bullish chart, then you'll get expansion through the top at some point. Stochastic looks good, pushing its way back up to the top. You want to see this roll over at the top of this uptrend. That's what I would look for. Okay, so yeah, and then Sigma was another meme. Who was it who asked me to look at Sigma? Make Bingles look bullish. I'll do my best. Novus asked me to look at Sigma. Yeah, it doesn't look great. I don't like how the VWAP has been resistance. You want to reclaim this. So we're down at 667 here, 0067. VWAP is at 11. You've got more resistance here before you even get there. This big ass sell-off is kind of standard for memes, I guess, but what I don't also like is this big long ass RSI downtrend as a sign of weakness. As we pumped into the highs, this thing did not make another high. That's a bear div. It's a sign that people are getting out into the highs. So yeah, it doesn't look great. If this makes another lower high over here, I would think about getting out. Maybe don't get out here, but I mean, this could actually have another leg down, could still sweep these lows. If that's even a thing that memes do. Got some support here. It could come down here and then head up to this level, but I would watch this level, see what happens. This and the VWAP, you really want to be above to make a bullish argument. Yeah, doesn't look too great. Volume also falling off a cliff as you come down here. Not much defense of these lows. So yeah, I'd be a bit concerned about that. Miggles, yeah. When RSI were nice and high here, but price did fuck all. Also not a great sign. Some support down here, but yeah, I wouldn't want to be in this thing, to be honest. The VWAP's like miles away. I don't know what the bullish argument is here. It must be something to do with wallets, some belief around who owns the supply. But I mean, this is just relentless selling from this lower high. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Someone wanted to get out, probably more than one person. No real sign of big defense of this level, like no big volume coming in. That was a nice big daily candle, but almost no volume, not much volume. So yeah, if I was the Baron, I'd be worried about this pack if I'm still holding it. Still some resistance to clear over here, and then the VWAP is miles away. There was still some hope here when we tested the VWAP here. Nice big pump, and somebody got out. Yeah, I'm not too bullish memes at the moment, I'll be honest. Definitely the stuff with escape velocity. CryptoTube had a good, Gaz had a good update today. We talked about memes, and it's really the Lindy ones, the ones with escape velocity, the bigger market cap stuff that I would look to be holding in this kind of environment, holding for when you get spikes in liquidity and the market becomes bullish again. Stuff like this, I mean, I don't know how big the Miggles market cap is. It's at 25 mil. and it's been pretty high. What is this, like a 5x from where we are now, 4x? But yeah, I don't know if this guy's in it for the long run. I would look to stuff like Retardio, Mog, even WIF to some degree. Definitely Popcat looks great. I have bags of most of those. Not too keen on Miggles. I had a Miggles bag, but I cheated it a while back. Arrow looks good. I was a meat fresh who asked to look at Arrow. Thesis is, excuse me, the base mascot cat coin. Yeah, sure. And a fucking Brett sent it. Work on the stupid shit. Send it to me. Yeah, Brett's like the outlier, isn't it, on base? That thing has like a massive market cap. Yeah. Let's look at Brett quickly. Is this the coin with the biggest market cap? On base. Give me some of this water, Rob. In Rob's office. Don't tell him. It's the control center for Castle Bridge North. Yeah, so massive market cap on this, and it's been way higher as well. Yeah, I've never been in this thing. It's down 50%. Price action doesn't look very good. Yeah, I don't get it. I guess base is still pretty illiquid. And $1 billion market cap for a meme there is kind of an outlier. Arrow looks decent as long as you hold this uptrend. Let me just get some volume profile on this thing. Dial up the resistor. Dial up the resolution. There we go. Okay, so actually quite a lot of resistance here. It's interesting. But I like the high-low. And the weekly candle looks good. Zoom into the daily. Yeah, as long as we keep up the surrounding bottom structure and don't make a lower low through this uptrend, then this thing looks pretty decent. So yeah, I would watch this area quite carefully. We need to try and get some closes up here again. Some daily closes and preferably weekly closes. Let's look at RSI and stochastic. It's turned around. Yeah, this could still come down, but ideally it won't. Yeah, just this big drawdown often leads to continuation, and you can see there's a bit of a downtrend here. So I don't know if that means the price is going to come back down to this uptrend here. It's a log chart, by the way. Yeah, you want to kind of see this this uptrend preserved, and a close up here. Let's just see where the VWAP is. It's up here. It's kind of to be expected, I guess. But yeah, you want to start getting some closes up here. Maybe this comes down again and makes a bit of an eve. Let's keep doing that. Need to get a mouse. Just get rid of those guys. There we go. So yeah, this could be an atom, and this could be a rounding eve bottom. That's kind of what you want to see. Massive volume over here. We'll bought back up. A Sigma bags. Did I look at Sigma? Let's have a look. Yeah, I think we looked at this. Yeah, it doesn't look great. I'm sorry, dude. This looks a lot better. Oh yeah, and then this just was like quite an interesting sounding project. Just in keeping with the theme of a rotation from memes to tokens that actually fucking do something. So that would include not only DeFi, but DePIN stuff on Solana. So stuff like Hive Mapper, stuff like Helium, HNT. Actually, that was a chart I meant to look at. Let's look at that quickly, because that is an example of a token that does some shit and looks bullish. Let's see if it still looks bullish. It looked bullish this morning. Yeah, it's fucking bullish. I charted this in Discord. It's a beautiful inverse head and shoulders bottom, and it's just chatting higher. Hasn't pulled back at all. So yeah, that's cool to see. I'm not too familiar with the project. Some DePIN shit, and then this was interesting from Wintermute, investing in Dawn Internet, which is first of its kind protocol in Solana. Very cool to see this stuff being built on Solana. These are ambitious projects being built on the Mammoth chain. That's exactly what you want to see to kind of rebut the typical ETH maxi argument that Solana is just meme degeneracy and it's the only reason the number has gone up. So these guys are basically building a decentralized network for selling your own internet access. So if you're not using your internet at night or whenever it is, you can sell it to your neighbor or whoever's in your sort of proximity in terms of the local network. I'm not too sure on the technical details, but it's super interesting. You've seen similar things with solar power and, local grids where, the oldest tokens probably Power, POWR, initially on ETH, but moved to Solana. Similar concept where you create a local network of solar power houses with solar power who, then have a local network where they all sell each other power, trade power automatically, AI-driven trading. The stuff is cool to see. I think it is a good future for this kind of tech. It just needs one or two projects with escape velocity to really get some momentum behind it. And obviously, IO.net is all of those AI training DePIN projects. So yeah, those can do well now in this environment. I think I'll be looking for rotation to those kind of projects. Yeah, this cloud thing does not look great. Maybe it's just this current daily candle. Not too sure what this is on Meteora. Or please, sure, can do. Yeah, this you want to see this downtrend broken. Just like a left curve thing to say, but that's what you want to see. Kind of started up here already, didn't it? Yeah, maybe not. But you want to see price break this downtrend and start closing above it on a daily or weekly basis. So yeah, some defense of the level here, pump back up. When was this? On Monday. This is the big dump. Maybe we chat through here and start painting a nice bottom, but it doesn't look great so far. Looks kind of weak. And if we look at the stochastic RSI, probably tell us that it's rolled over. Yeah. So this is coming down again. Not great because this is kind of a head and shoulders sort of setup now as well. So yeah, not looking too great. Let's look at render quickly because that is another DePIN, kind of one of your main DePIN tokens. It's interesting to see what that looks like. Looks pretty good. Strong buyback. I mean, massive dump, but this is a potential bottom here. Zoom out to the daily. On support, big downtrend from the top, 1350. Where are we? Yeah, down bad. Potential for reversal. So look at IO. Similar wheelhouse. I think Render's one of their clients. Yeah, this still looks weak as fuck. I guess maybe there's still some airdrop overhang here. At least we made a higher high here, but this PA looks pretty weak. I don't know if that uptrend will hold. Yeah, this could take a while to consolidate. That's probably not going to hold. Probably going to get more consolidation here. Aura, sure, let's take a look at Aura. I don't have an Aura bag anymore, but I know that I think Ansem listed it in his most recent list of tiered memes. I'm not sure where he put it. So yeah, it's clinging only just to this structure. Kind of deviated beneath it. So you could just keep drawing this according to your bias. But yeah, it looks okay here. This is a log chart, I think. Yep. Let's look at RSI. VWAP. Yearly. Yeah, it's trying to turn around here on the daily. Interesting, the VWAP was all the way down here while it was all the way up here. Yeah, once it reclaims the VWAP, and it's probably going back to the mid-range of this channel, and then once it claims the mid-range, you can expect it to go to the top. Let's just talk these kind of channel range setups work. You can see how it did it all the way up here. Lots of volume coming in here. Actually looks pretty decent, I guess. Volume coming down since the Monday dump. Not too bad. Still looks kind of healthy, but you do want to see it keep going up towards this mid-range, and you could look at stochastic RSI for some kind of guidance as to whether that's going to happen. And it looks solidly bottomed here. You zoom into the 4-hour, it might be rolling over. Yeah, maybe we get a weekend pump with this thing. I mean, this is probably indicative of where we are in the week. Friday afternoons, nobody really gives a fuck. Everyone's in the pub. But let's see what happens. Saturday morning into lunchtime, UK time, things start to pick up. And you've got nice consolidation under the VWAP here, which, you know, holding this uptrend could well compress and then pop up into the mid-range. So some opium there. Dime and Mythos. Cool. Let's have a look. So we're at Dime, which has been down only since forever. Pretty much since they topped at $8. Let's get a 3-day view. Potential double bottom here. I'm still waiting for this downtrend to break. That would be, you know, if I wanted to, I've already got a destroyed bag of Dime that I staked. I sold some up here at $8. Thank God, but I would look for it to reclaim this point of control here. And then to break this downtrend and paint a nice W bottom. And then you could start making Dime has bottomed bullish arguments. But the RSI looks good. You got a bull div here, price going lower or double bottoming while RSI is trending higher. So yeah, it looks like someone's been buying this thing. It's a sign of strength. Yeah, so some opium, but I'd be cautious. Wait for this to break. I mean, I think it's a cool project. That's why I didn't sell more of my airdrop. I got a decent airdrop out of this thing. Only sold about 20% up at the highs. And I like the team. There's not a big VC overhang with this thing. Very genuine guys. Blockmates interviewed them in the early days, I think. They're built on Cosmos, which apparently is not a good thing anymore. I've seen some really down in the mouth takes on Cosmos recently, and just the people that matter in Cosmos are not doing a good job apparently. I don't know too much about the technical ins and outs, but I really like Dime. I actually wrote an article about it around just modular stuff and Celestia and what the Dime guys were doing. Seems like a lifetime ago now, but yeah, if this thing can break the downtrend, then maybe it catches a bid. It's a good project, good utility, good way to, if you're coming from Web 2 or you have a Web 2 mindset and you have a business idea, it's a very low barrier to entry way to spin up a project. Was my take on it at the time when they launched, to try out any kind of Shopify, basically Shopify for Web3. I thought they were cool. It's sad that it's been such a fuck show. It's Tarek's mom's version. Let's check it out. Not looking great. So that was some login that wasn't. I don't know. Delete all that shit. Don't need that anymore. Channel Hopium from back in the day. Yeah, it doesn't look great. Let's close. I mean, the RSI, maybe some defense at this level, big support over here. But yeah, I mean, with ETH in the state that it is, and the L2 mess, I know Vitalik's been tweeting that it's all about to be magically resolved. I'll believe it when I see it, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, there's got to be a solid team behind this thing. Tarek's mom looks like a smart lady. I'm sure she's got a good team. I don't really know why I should use her L2 and not any of the 27 other ones, or just use base. But I don't know. It's coming into support. I personally wouldn't long it here. I would wait for this downtrend to break. This downtrend here. It's a log chart as well, by the way. Yeah, this was a massive pump. Jedi got super bullish on this thing, probably around here, knowing him. But then it just kept going up to like 150 area into the 90s, corrected. Yeah, everyone was pretty bullish on it, and just didn't happen. I mean, maybe this is just a bullish bull flag correction, but I would wait for it to break to the upside. Falling wedge, whatever you want to call it. Cool, guys. Yeah, that's 40 minutes. I think I'm going to leave it there, unless you've got anything else you want to have a look at. We've done Dime, Meters, Sigma. Stop the ETH pain. I wish I could help with that. I don't want ETH to be a bag of shit. So quite happy if we went to $10,000, $20,000 tomorrow. I'm just struggling to see how it's going to happen with things as they are now, but definitely not ruling it out before the end of the cycle. Please let it do that, because then everything else will ascend with it, and that would be very nice. I would enjoy that thoroughly. Okay, have a good weekend, everyone, and I'll talk to you on Monday. Cheers for now.